Hi, everyone. Thanks for tuning this episode of Nick Egan Times. On this episode, we're excited to welcome back to the very talented singer-songwriter Brett Hellings, the frontman of Hellings. Hellings has released a powerful new single, Chance on Love, produced by Richard Fortus and featuring Darryl Jones, Charley Drayton, and Carey Frank. Brett also shares a story behind the song, the band's evolution, and what's next as Hellings gears up to release its new EP. Welcome back to the talented Brett, and thanks for coming back on the show.
Of course, Nick. Thanks so much for having me. I loved the last time I was on the show, so I couldn't wait to get back on. So thanks for having me again.
Yeah, I'm glad you're back on. I was excited too when I saw. All right,
Cool.
let's jump straight into it. Firstly, take us back. What's been happening in your life, since last time we spoke? And yeah, everything's, I guess that's transpired.
Yeah. Last time we spoke, well, I was right in the middle of releasing that Borderline record with another super group of musicians that I got to play with, as you guys know, or on the last show. And it went really well. That record really did good for me. Got me some touring opportunities. Was out in LA, and while I was out in LA, I was playing the Viper Room, and Rich actually came to the show. Rich Fortus, who I played with and worked with on the Borderline record, and he decided that he had some time or wanted to have some time with me and do another record. And I was like, wow, that'd be so cool. And I had a lot more material, a lot of B-side stuff that I did on the previous record that never got made it onto the record. I was like, man, it'd be really awesome to get in and do it again. So me and Rich kind of got together in that fall and we made it up to New York. Um, and he got a group of guys around, that he's played with before. He was in a band called the Dead Daisies, and a version of the Dead Daisies had these amazing players like Darryl Jones, Charley Drayton, and I know them from playing with the Stones and playing with all kinds of other Bruce Springsteen, all kinds of other different people. Madonna, of course, Darryl was playing with, and Carey I knew from LA, and I brought him along as a keyboard player, and they just loved him. So we all kind of got into New York. I spent that summer after that gig writing and getting everything ready to get into the studio, and I took it into the studio, and then we tracked in about a week, and then I went did my vocals with Rich at his place in St. Louis, which was really cool. He has like a home studio there, and got it all done. And now we have this single coming out, or it's already been out, Chance on Love, who's been out for a couple of months now, and we have a 6-song EP that we're going to be releasing, probably singles, a couple singles, and then we're going to be releasing it next year. So I'm really excited for everybody to hear the new stuff, and we're also playing a lot of the stuff that I wrote live, which is cool, just to test it out. So I just played the Whiskey again last May, or this May, and I'm playing the Troubadour coming up in a couple weeks, so which is cool. We're headlining that show, so everything's going really well. But that's kind of a little synopsis of what I've been doing. Lots of writing, lots of recording, and then we did the music video as well for Chance on Love in that time period, which turned out really cool. And I urge people to go see that. We've spent a lot of time and energy going around New York and just capturing New York and the feel of that song. So very active ever since since last what 3 years now? It's been 3 or 4 years since we talked. So, but that's kind of what's been going on.
Sensational. Sounds like you got a lot of momentum now too, and yeah, it's very exciting times for you.
Oh yes, very much so. I'm really looking to get more on the road because I've been doing so much writing and so much recording. So going out to LA and getting into that scene, we did really well at the Whiskey, and we're finally this is the first time I ever played the Troubadour and headlining it. But it seems like there's these shows are getting us opportunities to even go overseas, which would be a dream come true for me to go over there and play, over in England. And I just was over there a little bit and visiting London and Ireland and stuff like that. And they just have a different sort of feel over there. They love rock and roll. They love music, and I can't wait to you know get over there and show them show them what we're made of.
Yeah, for sure. You can cut your teeth into it, you know what I mean? So yeah,
Oh yeah,
definitely.
yeah.
Cool. All right, let's talk specifically about Chance of Love. I guess if you could elaborate on it, tell me the background, I guess the lyrics and everything behind it, and yeah, just everything relating to the song.
Okay, cool. I started writing this song when I was just preparing, my songs for like an EP or for an album, and this song kind of popped out of nowhere. It was a very one of those songs that just come out of like a long writing session, and usually when I'm trying to write some rock songs or write something kind of more intricate or stuff like that, something simple as like Chance on Love kind of pops out. And I was a new time father at the time too, so that had a lot to do with where I was and my mood was, and and of course falling in love again and stuff like that. And this song just kind of came to me. It was like a more one of those gifted channeled sort of things, and it started off really simple, me on the piano and then me on guitar, and then I gave it to Rich and the guys, and they took it and they just made it into like this masterpiece, which was so cool to see it all come together with all these strings and just this build and this big crescendo. So very, very proud of it. It's got a really heartfelt, real, spiritual feel to it, and I'm always trying to do something a little bit new too, and not try to keep everything the same. And it was just kind of a low register sort of start for me, and keeping it calm and cool and chill and just meaningful. And I really concentrated on lyrically and really tried to capture that feel that I was trying to go for. So I'm proud of it, and I've been getting some really good responses out of it. And I love adding something to my catalog that I haven't had, and that song showed up for me. So,
Yeah, marvelous. Thanks for sharing.
mm,
All right, tell me, what's a dream you've achieved that surprised you recently, or within the last time we've spoken?
mm. Headlining the Troubadour, I would say.
Sure, sure.
When I was cutting my teeth in LA, I'd play the Whiskey, the Roxy, and the Key Club, and I was a house band at the Viper Room, and I was out there for 10 years. So I never got to play the Troubadour. They were just such a hard venue to kind of get in. It was like a selective sort of thing, and I never could get enough people and or clout to kind of get into that arena. And they have been amazing to us. They wanted us to kind of headline our own night, and they've been really working with us. And it's really nice to see someone in LA that's like willing to work with you, promote you, really want the best for you. A lot of LA is cutthroat and dog eat dog kind of thing, and the Troubadour has really brought us in and really want to see success for the night and like our band, and it's just got a really cool thing. So off the top of my head, not to promote the show too much, but that is something I've always wanted to do, and I'm getting to do on August 6th. So
Very impressive. Um, what's been the best compliment you've received?
I think the best compliment I've received is from Rich recently, actually. That was when we were recording the EP, and he never really tells me a lot about my vocals when we're in the studio. He's very encouraging. He's an awesome dude, but we're in work mode, and I never get to see what he really feels. But he compared me to, I think it was Mick Jagger, Steven Tyler, Reverend, the Rev, and Otis Redding, all in one. And I was pretty shocked when he said that. I didn't know that he felt that way, and but he did. And to work your whole life growing up with those
Yeah.
influences, trying to be like them, and then trying to have your own unique thing, and to still have those things in there that are still you. It doesn't get much better than that, to hear your one of your heroes say something like that about you. So yeah.
Yeah, that'll be a very humbling and pinch me moment for
Oh,
yourself.
yeah, it was. I have to keep it up now, right?
Yeah, got to keep the momentum going.
No, so but he was so great when and he doesn't say much, and he lets me be, but when he really gets into it, and he is such a master of music, he knows so much about it, and so many different types, more than just what he does with GNR. And for him to really be working with me, and wants to continue to do that and saying things like that, it's quite a compliment. I'm very honored.
Yeah, incredible. What's an insight you can share with your day-to-day life, and your routine?
Well, I've been cutting out a lot of the bad stuff and putting a lot of more of the good stuff in.
Yeah,
After you get after 40, things change a little bit, and then after having a little baby girl, your perspectives change and stuff like
yeah,
that. So my day to day is really getting up and focusing on my diet, really making sure I'm eating as clean as possible, and then exercise, 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 and I've really been getting into tennis and golf and just keeping myself ready for the stage and whenever my opportunities come, being in shape and being happy and level headed, not all that dramatic kind of stuff when I was back when I
Yeah.
was in my 20s and 30s when it was all drugs and alcohol and all that crap. It's a very steady kind of thing, and I'm really loving my life, and I'm really just want to be my best for the music and for myself. And so that's something that I've been really working on, and that's kind of my day to day. And of course, playing with my little girl and writing music with her, and learning about myself all over again through a little one, And so that's been really amazing. And I go to bed a lot earlier nowadays. So I don't mean to sound boring, but I and of course I've made a little sanctuary for myself. This is like my home studio where I'm still writing all the time, never trying to force it, just trying to like go with it. And I find there's long sessions of trying to find that song or that thing that's really special is kind of impossible. It has to kind of come to you. So just be anybody out there in it, make it part of your routine, but don't make it too serious. And when God wants to show it to you, he will. And that's kind of that's where I've been at.
Yeah, great. What with your little girl, how what I guess has she changed about you personally? So like what is something that I guess yeah, she's obviously a priority, but yeah, like how has she changed you? Like do you think from your old
Yeah,
self to now? Yeah.
I think she's definitely made me more patient and made me check myself emotionally a lot, and seeing what's really important. When you're in the thick of trying to, still make music, still be you, and raising a little girl, you really want to stop and take your time with someone that's new to this world and you really care about. And a lot of times life can get in the way of that, and to stay really like focused on, wait a second, I'm talking to someone who doesn't know what I'm going through and doesn't know how to be really spoken to yet. I think she's taught me how to be really cool and calm and even better performer and a better communicator. And then, of course, all the stuff that she teaches me, it's just how to be a kid again and not to take everything so serious. I'd much rather go hang out with her than watch the news,
Yeah.
and talk about her imaginary friends and all the stuff that she's hearing for the first time or seeing for the first time and how she views the world. I think it's really inspiring thing to be around someone like that because to see it so fresh and we used to see it like that at one point.
Yeah.
So to see it all over again, she's taught me to look at life again in that way. So
Yeah, awesome. What does Hellings mean to you and represent now?
Hellings has kind of like become of an it now, not so much me. It was all me in the beginning. It was just my dream, and I would do anything for it, and worked my ass off to get to where I was, and just took it so serious, and I still do, but it's become like a different thing outside of just who I am, which is cool. Now it's lots of bands are kind of involved. There's a lot of people involved in kind of the organization and stuff. So Hellings has become right where I wanted it to be, doing stuff, making music, touring, being out there. It's still going to always be my first love. It's the first thing I think about when I get up. But I'm separating myself from it, which is cool, and getting all kinds of really talented people that are so into rock and roll and good music involved in what we're doing. It's just been just so inspiring to see the thing grow and to keep up with it and not to give up. And after like 25 years of it, for it to be even blossoming more than it was, 10 years ago, it's just so cool. You couldn't ask for anything more.
Fantastic. Are you open to getting out of rock and roll, like collaborating with, I guess, a different kind of genre of music, or it's always you want to stay in that rock and roll space?
I don't know anything but rock and roll, really,
Sure.
but
Sure.
I am certainly open to all kinds of different things if the collaboration would
Opportunity.
be
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, if it feels good, if it's cool, and the vibes meet, I'm definitely into that. My voice can always kind of lend to even a different genre of music because it's kind of in that such unique rooted rock and roll kind of feel. But I've been getting a lot of compliments from like Chance on Love, that it does sound so country and it does really go into the more rootsy southern rock, which I have, but really getting into different sorts of fields. I'm really trying to write myself because there's only so much you could do. Well, tell that to the Stones. I just listened to their new record. They sound exactly the same,
Yeah.
and they're still doing it, right? So,
Yeah.
but I would love to just I love great musicians. I love anybody that's into writing, anybody that's into doing something new feels that I would be good for it. I'd be into that. But rock and roll is my heart. So that's and soul. I really love soul music. I grew up listening to it, and I've been since I got a new upright piano, which is right over there. I've been really kind of like getting more back into that sort of feel. You could hear that in Chance on Love too.
Wonderful. What's a lesson that's taken you the longest to learn?
Oh, um, it does not come easy. It does not. Nothing comes easy in life,
Oh,
and as soon as you think it is, it's probably going to disappoint you. Anything worth anything, it takes time and takes hard work and takes a sacrifice that you're probably not prepared for. It shouldn't stop you from doing it, but just know that it's going to take a little bit for you to develop, become yourself with it, in whatever medium that is. And I've learned to try that process when you know it's going to not be easy or it's not going to be overnight. Learn to enjoy because that's really where the meat is.
yeah.
That part of that waiting and loving it and sacrificing and doing all that, that's where all the songs come from. That's where you come from. And so I've learned that, and I knew that, when I was earlier, younger in my career, but the older I get, it seems to even apply more. So I think being patient with yourself and being in there for the long run is going to produce such quality, real, authentic you sort of material, music, art, whatever you do, So it's not easy, but it's worth it.
Tremendous. And that's where the growth is.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly.
What scares you most these days?
Ooh, getting older is a little scarier, I will say. Everything things hurt a little bit more. Things are a little bit different than when you used to do them. Change is a little scary. You got to kind of roll with the punches as you get older, but I like it. I love aging is also such a cool thing if you're taking care of yourself because it's such a badge of honor. You've made it and you're still in it and you get so good when you've stuck with it for so long. So, but it is a little scary making changes that you don't really maybe want to, and you think the same thing is always going to work, and it doesn't. But I think facing those head on is the most important thing. Um, the AI scares me a little bit too, if you want to be honest.
Yeah.
I think AI is like a weird thing that we've created and it's growing and now it's outsmarting us in a way, and I'm always scared just as an artist how it affects the soul of music and the individuality of music. So but if you continue to just reinvent yourself and really stay true to yourself, I don't think anything can really hurt you in that any degree like that. AI is copying something is giving you. So I'm not too scared of it, but it gets a little frightening when really view it, and especially with what it's done to music and stuff like that. Because it's so important for us just to have original music and human made music. It's just we need it, and so I'm protective of it. So something that frightens me, but if you just stay creative and you stay in it, God will give you the power to overcome all that kind of stuff. If you're scared.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing. And I agree. I think there needs to be guardrails with it, with
Yeah.
AI. So something that protects, like the meat of it, the soul of it, as you said.
I think so. I think there needs to be protection of it, and I think it shouldn't become this thing that gets lost because music is really about the individual's feelings
Right.
and whatever God is bringing into life, and once that's gone, it's not really even music at that point.
Yeah,
It's
it's
just
just computer.
yeah, it's just entertainment or whatever you
Yeah,
want to
yeah,
call it.
that's right.
So preserving that is very important.
Cool. Um, what do you want this chapter of your legacy to be?
What's that? Say that one more time.
What do you want this chapter of your life, your legacy to be?
This chapter of my life right now.
Yeah, to your legacy to be.
Yeah, I really just want to stay true to myself and continue to make music that comes from me. And I love working with people, and I've worked with the best, and it's so incredible. But I just really wanted to keep the authenticity of my career there, and I want that legacy to be a part of that. When people say that he's a purist and he's so authentic and he's genuine, he's stuck to his guns. Those sort of things uh, make me the most proud, I think, when I think about compliments and stuff like that. And and to keep that going and to keep building upon that and staying your ground with that, I think is where would really want my legacy to stand and be. And I've always done it, and I don't see myself stopping. But I think I want people to know that this is coming really from me and the best of me, and I'm doing everything I can to make sure that you guys are getting something real. And I think if that could be on my my musical grave tombstone, I'm good with that. And not more than even how popular I get or how broad it, and every musician wants everybody to at least listen to their music. And I think that will happen, and it is happening. But to make sure they're listening to what you want them to listen to, and it's you, I think is the most important thing. And that's definitely where I want my the Hellings to end up and continue on.
Yeah, extraordinary. How do you stay grounded these days?
My 3-year-old. Your grounds are pretty good. One foot in front of the other, kind of thing. Taking things a little slower, not so rushy. I think but when you're ambitious and you're young and you're all in it, back in the day, I'm a little more patient with things and let things kind of happen. I find that when I give the control over, or not, you know, especially the things I can't control, when I alleviate that control, I find that I have a better life and things fall into place a lot more. And God is more in the kind of the control seat instead of you. I find that it's such a nicer life, and you get better stuff out of it, whether it's personal or musical or whatever. Um, so taking it one step at a time, and knowing that you're in it for the long run, and like I said, be cool with it, be happy about it, be into it, and enjoy that kind of journey, sort of thing. Not to sound cliche, but I think that's really important. Take your time with stuff. You're gonna get the best quality. You're gonna get the best out of you, and that's what I found for me.
Cool. What has been a magical moment on the stage that I guess you relive or you just go, wow, that happened?
That happens to me all the time on the stage.
Cool.
I kind of black out when I go onto a stage, not because of any influences, just because I'm so engulfed in the song. I know every lyric, I know every note. It's so my story that something else kind of takes over. So when I wake up and there's certain moments within the performance, and I'm like, wow, I get to do this. I'm doing it. This is so cool. That every one of those moments is a special moment to me, and it's almost like everything that I do is just to get back to those moments, because I'm so, you know I just know what I'm doing up there, or it's just another thing. That's what I'm supposed to be doing. So but recently I played pretty great at I think at the Whiskey. There wasn't a huge packed crowd. The band was a little different, but man, the way that we sounded afterwards, I was just like, wow, you really do sound like you should be on a touring thing. You're getting so close and getting so well oiled that I was pretty proud of what we accomplished. And all these new songs from now, and then I get to now go 20 years back and play a song. So I got, I have this span of eras of music. So sometimes I find myself going, wow, I cannot believe I'm still playing this. This is crazy. And also walking up to the Whiskey, seeing your name still there. Out of all the bands I used to know that he would play on the Strip and do all those kind of things, and they're all long gone. And to see a name up there is pretty spectacular. Walking up and going, you're still there, man. So it's a good feeling.
That's special. That's terrific.
Yeah.
Um, what's something you still want to accomplish musically?
That I still want to.
Yeah.
I still want to make a lot more records, and I still want to meet Keith Richards someday. I'm getting
Yeah,
close.
yeah,
I still want to open up with some really big bands. All the same dreams that I had. I mean, I've worked with so many amazing people so far, but I just, I just see myself going and doing it again with another kind of a crew of people, or maybe the same, but just making really good music. Continue to make really, really quality, good music, and also getting overseas. I really, really have this passion to go over and tour over there. I think they're really going to dig me. There's a lot of people that are getting kind of turned on to us over there, and I get the vibe over there just feels so good. So going over there to even write, maybe going and living in Ireland for like a year just to write, touring for sure, selective kind of stuff, and getting it out there, trying to letting my music kind of take me around the world, which I always dreamt of when I was a kid. Is having this music take me to exotic places, different places, and then starting to do that. So, big goal of mine, but just continue to making really great records and never stop doing that. So
how hard is it, the logistics of actually organizing touring and going to these places?
it's difficult. It's definitely
Sure,
difficult for someone that's independent.
sure.
It takes a huge team. If you can kind of piggyback off of like a really big touring act, like someone like the Black Crowes or GNR, stuff like that, you can have a little bit more of an organization with it. But going out there and doing it all on your own is difficult. You kind of have to do it all on your own. You have to,
Yeah.
get your band out there. If you want to use them, you can use other musicians there, getting in with the venues, at least getting in front of a crowd that is respectable to play in front of. But LA is really helping us kind of establish ourselves in a way that those opportunities are happening. It's the hardest, I would say, is to get a packed room in Los Angeles. That is like one of the hardest gigs because no one really cares about rock and roll as much as they used to on the Sunset Strip. You have to really make them care. So to be successful in that arena, it could only be easier than everything could be easier than that, than doing the LA thing. So, but it'll take some time, but we're starting to build a team and kind of baby steps, one step at a time, just getting over there, trying it out, seeing what really works. It's going to be, I think, if we've done everything we've done so far, I think we're going to be able to get that done. And also just trying to find some help, anybody that can really has that experience, like a really nice seasoned booking agent or manager that could kind of take us over there, and which we're talking to and trying to find the right one. So it's all that kind of stuff. So we won't be alone, but it's difficult. But I mean, for me, I can't imagine wanting to do anything more than to tour this music I've been working at for so long and so hard. So I'm ready.
That's great insights. Thank you for sharing that. How
Hmm.
has since you were young, growing up with rock and roll, how has it actually changed and matured, or I guess how mainstream is it now compared to when you were younger? Like how much has it changed?
It's changed a lot. Well, I guess it hasn't changed that much since 2000 to me. I
Sure.
mean, growing up, it was always changing. I was born in 82, so the 80s music was different, and 90s was so different. And what I grew up on, the grunge movement and that kind of like sound, and just the late 90s bands. It was always bands, there were always like new movements and
Sure.
stuff. And then right around 2000, everything kind of just fizzled out, and then it was just this slew of boy bands, girl bands, anything that's just commercially going to be successful, which is, but kind of fades out. There was no that vibe and that rock. There was a couple, you have the White Stripes, you have in that today's world, the Muse or Rival Sons are really great, Black Keys are really great. You have all kinds of little bands popping up, but there was movements, I would say, back when I was growing
Yeah.
up when I was 14, and we don't have those as much. So it's definitely changed like that. And I really do think it's because of stuff like technology. You don't have the music is not making the money it used to, so the bands don't get enough development time, really, not even money, just time to develop. Here's a couple, this amount of money, go make me a great album. It's so make me a great single right now. We're putting it out and make sure a million people see it, and then we'll do it again. It's not this feel good. We're gonna go back in. We're gonna really create something live and real, like what I just did with the EP and what I did with Borderline, when we're all in the same room, we're all living at the same place, and sharing and the camaraderie and all that kind of stuff is really super important. You don't see the records being done like that. You don't see really bands like that as much. So when I see them, I really encourage them, and I hope there's going to be more of that. And it needs to be like that for it to be, I think, as authentic as I'm talking about things. So it's changed, and if we could just get bands get a little bit more support, I think we would find that again. It's become this money making thing when music is not really about that. Music is about us and our souls, and us connecting and having fun and creating something cool and your experiences. But a lot of bands are not getting that opportunity. And I'm still really encouraged though to see with bands like Guns N' Roses putting out new stuff, which I've really liked and I'm really liking, and the Stones just putting out another album, and they're like, I don't know, 150. I'm not sure how.
Yeah,
Just vampires,
yeah,
But
yeah.
it's so encouraging, and I hope a lot of young bands get encouragement out of it, and just know that it might take that long just to have your best album. Just never give up, kind of thing, and just know if they're still doing it, anybody could do it. And so encouraged with the Crows, and these bands have really stepped up. I think when we don't have a lot of rock and roll going on, and and even Oasis, coming out with that tour was just incredible. So those boys are keeping it alive for us, and it gives us inspiration to want to be just like that, just like when we were younger. So I'm really encouraged with that new rock and roll. It needs a little help, but just it's all about the songwriting first before you get on the stage. No one really cares if you're popular. They care that you're popular for the right reason, I think, in rock and roll.
Cool. You're waving the flag definitely, and your answer there is just your passion coming through. Incredible.
Oh, thank you, man.
Nice. Brett, thank you so much for coming on the show. I do appreciate it. Your song's incredible. I wish you nothing but the best with the EP and even your tour that you're going to be going on.
That's amazing, brother. And anytime you want to talk to me, I'm available for you. And thank you so much. And we'll be seeing each other soon, hopefully. Okay.
100%, brother.
All
Sounds good.
right. See you, brother. Thanks,
See ya.
everybody.
See ya.